Please join me in invoking our teacher's name 3 times. Namo Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo Shakyamuni Buddha. Topic I wanted to talk to you guys today is about prayer, or Buddhist prayer. Obviously, Buddhism is a non-theistic religion, so our prayer is a little different than prayer elsewhere. Typically, if you go into a church or mosque or a synagogue, whatever it may be, you're praying to God or some deity-like person. And you're either praying for, forgiveness or for health and wealth and benefits and all this good stuff that you're trying to bring into your life, whether you're going to a new school or having a new job. You're praying for something you're asking for something, right? You're asking for something to be given to you. Prayer is not really the best word to use in Buddhism. Really, I think we use the word prayer because it's common verbiage for the type of ritual or sayings that we say. I think a better word may be aspirations, because we see and hear and we do and we say prayers, obviously, in our practice. But these prayers are not asking for something. They're not a request from the Buddha or the Bodhisattvas. Instead, they're more aspiration-like. So you are saying something that you want to develop within your own self, within your own practice. Same thing with like statues, right? The statues, if we took away the statues out of the temple, this would still be a Buddhist temple because the statues themselves are just symbolic features, right? They're there to remind us about the characteristics of that statue or of that person that the statue represents. So when we see the statue of the Buddha, we're saying, this is the Buddha. We want to, within ourselves, develop the characteristics of the Buddha, right? We, within ourselves, want to become enlightened, and we want to help in suffering of all beings. And so we try to aspire to develop those characteristics within ourselves. Or if we see the statue of Kshitigarbha or Earth Store Bodhisattva, right? We want to develop those characteristics like he does of helping sentient beings escape their suffering from hell or hellish lives or situations. Or the same thing with Avalokiteshvara, right? We want to develop compassion and loving kindness within ourselves, within other people. So likewise, these prayers are also symbolic, right? They're aspirations that we want. These are the words that we want to develop in ourselves, right? So when we pray for, like, if you do like the loving kindness gatha or prayer, right? We're saying that we want to relieve suffering within ourselves and other species or other beings, and then the causes that cause suffering. We want to develop happiness and the causes that develop happiness, right? So we're kind of really reminding ourselves what we need to do in order to accomplish said prayer objective, right? Because that's the whole intention or the objective of prayer, is to remind ourselves, because we need constant reminder, right? We need to be constantly mindful of our practice and what we do and what we say and what we think. And so these prayers or these aspirations help us with that mindfulness, help us with that practice. So if you're praying for good health or wealth, or praying for that new job, or getting to a nice school or whatever it may be, then you're just kind of like SOL almost, right? Like nothing's going to happen for you. The Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas aren't going to grace you with that request of saying, yes, you're good enough to get this job, or you're good enough to go to this school. It doesn't really work that way, right? They're not there for your requests like that. They are there as guides and as teachers and as role models of things that we want to develop within ourselves. I have seen, unfortunately, in some places where for the description or for the plaque of like Avalokiteshvara. On the plaque, it says that she or he is the wish-fulfilling bodhisattva. And I think that's the most inaccurate description. I know in some places, some countries that are more superstitious than practical use those types of titles in order to kind of fish in people, right? To either give donations or to give some sort of alms or benefits to the place, temple, or center. But that is an inaccurate description, because the bodhisattvas and the Buddhas are not wish fulfillers. They're not there to grant you wishes. They're not genies, right? So you shouldn't treat them like genies or anything like that. They are humble and venerable teachers of ours. So we need to ensure that when we are practicing, when we're chanting or praying, that we're doing with this sincere intention of saying what we're saying in order to develop those characteristics within ourselves. Whenever we invoke the name of the bodhisattvas, right, we're invoking Avalokiteshvara, Manjushri, Samantabhadra, and Kshittigarbha, and it lists their characteristics, right? It lists what they are known for. And so when we're chanting that, we don't just say the words, but we try to aspire those things within ourselves to remind us that we too can also be these types of bodhisattvas. We may not always be in the ideal situations or places to be fully capable, but we at least try, right? So any little thing, even if you're helping one person, you may think that it's just one person, but that person may go and help another person. That other person will help someone else, right? And it creates this domino effect. So that one person you help in the long run can end up being hundreds or thousands or millions of people. So we shouldn't think that our practice is just ourselves and no one else is really benefiting from it. Because it is, right? Our practice, I always tell people that you shouldn't tell people that you're Buddhist or you're practicing or whatever it may be, but instead show them, right? Because the whole thing about Buddhism is showing loving kindness, compassion, equanimity, and appreciative joy towards others. So if you practice those things within your life and you truly develop those ideals within yourself and within your life, then other people will see those changes in you. So you don't really have to tell them anything. They will just see it. And then they themselves will hopefully allow them to transform themselves into being a better person. And again, likewise, they'll just create this domino effect of hopefully changing lives of other people. So today we will kind of do the aspiration of Samantabhadra service, which is really just a long prayer, but it's a very humbling prayer, and I think when we do chant and we contemplate, it's really inspirational, for me at least, right? As a monk or nun, or even just as a devoted practitioner, your whole life is devoted towards bettering yourself in order to better other people, right? So you have to find different means of practices that will help you accomplish that goal, whether it's chanting or giving teachings or meditating or whatever it may be. You have to find something that's going to work for you. That way it does create that change. It may take days or months or years or decades, but in the end, you'll hopefully feel a change within yourself, and other people will see that change within yourself. But practice is important in our practice, right? You can't just assume coming to church or temple, once a week, or doing things once or twice a week is going to benefit you. That's one of my kind of disciplines that I tell everyone, that if you are wanting to practice seriously and sincerely, then it has to be an actual practice, right? Practice makes perfect. But a practice literally means doing something constantly over and over again. So whether it's meditating or reading or chanting, it needs to be developed, and it needs to be done diligently, because especially the sutras, some of the sutras are very profound, and they need to be read multiple times over and over again just to be able to comprehend the surface of it. But if we just read it once and assume that's just, it is what it is, then you're really not going to understand it correctly. So that's where our practice really comes into place, where you have to read it over and over again. So hopefully, when you do pray, or when you do read a chant or some sort of vow or aspiration, do take it in humbly, right? Just take it in and be able to visualize what you're saying, and visualize those characteristics being developed within yourself. Because we have a lot of prayer here. Obviously, we do a meal prayer during retreats or during formal services or formal lunches. We do a long meal prayer, and in that prayer, we are acknowledging the people that have made the food for us, right? So we're thinking and we're acknowledging and we're giving gratitude towards the gardeners and the farmers and the grocers and the transporters, right? All these people, all these little things that made it possible for the food to be within our bowl, within our grasp. We're thanking them, and we're showing them gratitude, because we can't just assume the food came out of nowhere. There's a lot of people that went into making it, to cooking it, and to giving it flavor and be able to feed us. And then within that same prayer, we're also acknowledging the people who don't have enough food to eat, or don't have any food to eat at all, right? And so whenever we eat for our lunch, you are given a bowl and you're essentially serving yourself, because you should only be taking what you're able to eat and complete, because there shouldn't be any wastefulness, right? Because we have to acknowledge and we have to be mindful of the people who don't have any food at all, or don't have enough food at all. So who do we think we are that we're able to just eat all this food and waste it, when there's people out there who don't have any food at all? So within that same prayer, so all these prayers, all the things that we do are just reminders. They are aspirations that we want to accomplish within ourselves and within our own practice, because that's a huge part of our practice, is creating these aspirations, is creating vows, right? If you've taken the precepts vows, right? You're vowing that you'll take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. You're vowing to abstain from the 5 precepts, and you're vowing to better yourself in order to help other people as well. So that's my talk. I just wanted to keep it short and simple this week, since we're doing the Aspiration of Samantabhadra Sutra. So any questions, concerns, emotional outbursts about my talk?
Also like thinking about, in addition to people activities that provide that food, think about the sunshine and the rain and the earth and the seed. Because that seed came from a plant, which came from a seed, which came from the plant before, so it's all connected and it's all part
right.
of the whole.
Right, and everything's interdependence, right? Whenever I give very brief talkings about emptiness or about wisdom, right? I always use the example of a flower or the microphone, right? So if we're taking the flower, like we look at flowers and we just like, oh, there's a flower, just came out of nowhere, but it really didn't come out of nowhere. It came because of the dirt, because of the wind, because of the sun and the air and everything, that all these other components that made it into a flower, and that is a flower. So when we eventually practice and meditate on emptiness, we're seeing those things, right? We're seeing all the little things that make up something. So we are kind of dissecting the flower into its smaller components, and each component has other things that made that and made those, right? So it's a whole cycle. There's no ending, no beginning, no ending. Like we chant in the Heart Sutra. But yes, interdependence is everywhere. Anything else? Okay, so we'll go ahead and transform the mirror and go into our chanting. Namo Shakyamuni Buddha, Namo Shakyamuni Buddha, Namo Shakyamuni Buddha. For any positive karmic action we've accumulated here tonight, we wish to transform the mirror to all sentient beings and wish them full enlightenment.
Page 49, everyone. Speech and mind in perfect oneness, I send my heart along with the sound of the bell. May the hearers awaken from forgetfulness and transcend all anxiety and sorrow. Listen, listen, this wonderful sound brings me back to my true home. In gratitude we offer this incense to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas throughout space and time. May it be fragrant as earth herself, reflecting our careful efforts, our wholehearted mindfulness, and the fruit of understanding slowly ripening. May we and all beings be companions of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. May we awaken from forgetfulness and realize our true home. Since the censer now is burning, all the Dharma realm in every place, auspicious clouds appearing, our sincere intention thus fulfilling, as all Buddhas now show their perfect body. Homage to the incense cloud canopy, Bodhisattva and great Bodhisattvas. Homage to the eternally abiding Buddha, the supreme Dharma, and sagely Sangha throughout the Dharma realm and the realm empty space and 3 periods of time. Homage to the fundamental teacher Shakyamuni Buddha, Maitreya ruler, future Buddha, Manjushri, great wisdom Bodhisattva, universal great conduct Bodhisattva,
all Dharma guarding Deva Bodhisattvas, and the magic mountain assembly of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas.
Amen.
To Amitabha Buddha in the land of ultimate bliss, Avalokiteshvara, great compassion, Bodhisattva, great strength, Bodhisattva, earth store, great vow, Bodhisattva, and the assembly of great pure sea like Bodhisattvas. Bodhisattva, Namo Samantabhadra Bodhisattva. Purity of body, speech, and mind, I bow to all the heroic Buddhas of the past, present, and future, without exception, in every world, in all the 10 directions, by the power of this aspiration of Samantabhadra, I bow with as many bodies as there are atoms in the pure lands of all those victorious truths manifest in my mind, and I pay homage to all of them. I conceive the entire realm of truth to be completely filled with enlightened ones. Each atom I imagine there to be as many Buddhas as atoms in the pure lands. Each Buddha surrounded by many Bodhisattvas. I honor all these blissful lords, praising their perfection. All the sounds of an ocean of varied melodies, an ocean of endless praise I offer to those heroic Buddhas, the finest flowers, garlands, music, and ointments, excellent canopies, choice lamps, and the best incense I offer as well to those victorious ones, the finest array of all excellent things, the finest robes and fragrances, and heaps of sweet smelling powders, as highest bound Meru by the power of my faith in the deep deeds of Samanera. I prostrate and present vast equal offerings to each of the victorious Buddhas. I confess every type of wrong that I have done, thought, word, or deed, under the influence of desire, anger, or ignorance. I rejoice in the meritorious deeds of all Buddhas of the 10 directions, the Bodhisattvas, Pratyeka Buddhas, Arhats, practitioners, and all sentient beings. I request that enlightened protectors who have attained the detachment of Buddhahood illuminated the worlds of the 10 directions to turn the fearless wheel of Dharma. With folded hands I beseech those who intend to manifest the final nirvana to remain for as many eons as there are atoms in all the pure lands, for the benefit and happiness of all living beings. May whatever small amount of virtue I may have gained from prostrating, offering, confessing, rejoicing, requesting, and beseeching be dedicated to attaining perfect enlightenment. May I worship the Buddhas of the past and those now present in the worlds of the 10 directions. May those who come quickly to fulfill their aspiration and reach Buddhahood by traversing the stages of enlightenment. May all the worlds of the 10 directions become pure and filled with bodhisattvas and victorious Buddhas who proceed to the royal tree of enlightenment. May all living beings in the 10 directions always be happy and free of sickness. May the display of the Dharma be in harmony with the needs of all living beings and fulfill their hopes. May I perform all the deeds of enlightenment and remember all my lives in all states of existence, in all my lives after death, migration, and rebirth. May I always embrace spiritual life. May I follow all the victorious Buddhas and perfect all the deeds of Samanera, pure in the immaculate deeds of morality. May my conduct always be flawless and without fault. May I teach the Dharma in every tongue, in whatever sounds are understood by living beings, in the language of the gods, nagas, demons, spirits, and human beings. May I always diligently and patiently perform that action. May I never disregard my intention to attain enlightenment and completely remove whatever faults may obscure and free from karma defilement. Actions of demons as a lotus is unsoiled by the fire. Every rebirth in the world may I proceed unhindered like the sun and moon in the clear sky throughout all the lands and all the directions. May the sufferings of the lower realms be completely relieved, establishing peace and happiness. May I work for the benefit of all living beings, fully accomplishing the activities of enlightenment. May I work in harmony with the activities of all beings. I practice and demonstrate the deeds of Samanera throughout all future eons. May I associate with those whose activities are similar to mine. May we act alike in thought, word, and deed, and may our aspirations be as one. Because ones who wish to help me and also demonstrate the deeds of Samanera always meet me again. May I never cause them pain. May I always personally behold the victorious Buddhas, those guardians surrounded by bodhisattvas without tiring in all future eons. May I always present the magnificent offerings. I always uphold the Buddha's sacred Dharma and illuminate the deeds of enlightenment. May I train in the practice of Samanera in all future eons through rebirth in all states of existence. May I gather in the stores of merit and wisdom. May I become an inexhaustible treasure of all virtues of method, wisdom, concentration, and liberation. May I always behold as many pure lands as there are atoms present in each pure land with inconceivable Buddha sitting in the midst of their bodhisattvas and performing the activities of enlightenment. This way may I be able to see everywhere, even on every mode of dust, countless Buddhas of the past, present, and future, limitless pure lands and in the sea. May I always see the pure speech of the victorious Buddhas, which holds within each word the totality of the perfect Dharma. The notion of words and language is precisely suited to the needs of all living beings. May I possess perfect intelligence so as to heed the endless melody of speech when the victorious Buddhas of the past, present, and future turn the wheel of Dharma. I accomplish the bodhisattva's practice of entering the past, present, and future in a fraction of a second. May I enter all the future eons in a single instant. May I behold all the heroic Buddhas of the past, present, and future in a single instant. May I always perform their activities through the power of liberation from illusion. May I perceive upon a single atom the perfect design of the pure realms of the past, present, and future. Thus may I enter into the realms of the victorious Buddha. All directions may the illuminators of the worlds of the future realize the stage of Buddhahood, turning the wheel and of the profound peace of Nirvana. And may I always be in their presence. May I acquire the perfectly accomplished powers of enlightenment, the power of miraculous swiftness, the power of perfection of every spiritual path, and the power of all virtuous qualities. May I acquire the power of all virtues of love, may the power of the merit of every virtue, the power of all transcendental wisdom, and the powers of perfect knowledge, method, and meditation. May the power of action be utterly purified, the power of passions utterly subdued, the power of demons utterly destroyed, and the power of the deeds of Samanera perfected. May the ocean of lands be purified, the ocean of beings liberated, the ocean of Dharma realized, and the ocean of wisdom fully attained. May the ocean of practice be purified, and the oceans of aspirations accomplished. May the oceans of Buddhas be ceaselessly worshipped, and the deeds of enlightenment tirelessly performed. May I completely fulfill all perfect aspirations to enlightened activities in order to attain the stage age of the victorious Buddhists, past, present, and future, according to the deeds of Samantabhadra, the eldest son of the victorious Buddhists. It's called Samantabhadra. I dedicate all these victorious actions that my deeds may be his, may my body, speech, mind, activities, and environment place be pure, and may I become equal to this excellent aspiration of Samantabhadra. May I tirelessly accomplish the virtuous deeds of Samantabhadra and the aspirations of the Bodhisattva Manjushri throughout all future eons. May there be no limit to my activities. May there be no limit to my virtues through limitless perseverance. May I accomplish all miraculous deeds. The limit of living beings is like the limit of open space. May the limit of my aspirations be equal to the limit of their activities and passions. Whoever offers to the victorious Buddhas all the perfect joys of gods and men and the realms of the 10 directions, adorned with jewels for as many eons as there are atoms in those realms, they shall gain great merit. Whoever hears this greatest dedication prayer and is inspired by faith, intensely desire supreme enlightenment, shall gain even higher and holier merit. Whoever recites this aspiration of Samantabhadra will never again endure hellish rebirth. Evil friends and will soon behold the Buddha Amitabha. They will gain all benefits, live in happiness, attain precious human rebirth, to become like Samantabhadra himself. Submitted, the 5 unredeemable sins will soon be completely purified by reciting this aspiration of Samantabhadra. They will all see perfect wisdom, a radiant countenance, judicious physical marks, the noble birth, profane and devilish beings will not trouble them. They will be honored in the 3 realms. They will quickly reach the royal tree of enlightenment, residing there to benefit all beings as in Buddhas. They will turn the wheel of Dharma, whoever knows, teaches, or recites this aspiration, Samantabhadra shall ultimately attain. May none despair of complete enlightenment in whatever way valiant Manjushri and Samantabhadra know how to transfer merit. So do I dedicate all of my own virtues that I might train to be like them through this dedication. Praise the supreme by the victorious Buddhas of the past, present, and future. I dedicate all of these roots of virtue to accomplishing the deeds of Samantabhadra. At the moment of my death, may all obscurations be removed, that I may behold the Buddha Amitabha and go to the pure land of perfect bliss. In that blissful land, may I completely fulfill all of these aspirations and benefit all beings as long as the universe remains joyful. There is that blessed assembly of the Buddhas. May I be reborn like the holy ones from an exquisite lotus, and may the Buddha Amitabha himself foretell my own enlightenment. May I thereafter accomplish countless benefits for living beings in all the 10 directions by the power of perfect wisdom and its myriad incarnations, through whatever small virtue I have gathered by reciting this aspirations of Samantabhadra. May all the virtuous aspirations of living beings be accomplished in a single instant. boundless merit gained by so dedicating these aspirations of Samanera. May the countless beings in the torrent of suffering reach the stage of Amitabha, the greatest of dedication prayers. Countless living beings may reciting this ornament of Samanera drop release all beings from the suffering of the lower realms. Namo Samantabhadra Bodhisattva. Namo Samantabhadra Bodhisattva. The 10th great path of Bodhisattva Samantabhadra, to worship and respect all Buddhas, to make praises to the thus come ones, to practice profoundly the giving of offerings, to repent and reform all karmic hindrances, to rejoice and follow in merit and virtue, to request that the Dharma will be turned, to request that the Buddhas remain in the world, to always follow the Buddha's teaching, to constantly accord with all living beings, to transfer all merit and virtue universally. May all beings without limit, without end, have a share in the merit just now made in whatever other merit I have made those who are dear and kind to me, beginning with my mother and father, whom I have seen or never seen, others neutral or hostile beings established in the cosmos, the 3 realms, the 4 modes of birth, with 5, 1, or 4 aggregates wandering on from realm to realm. They know of my dedication of merit, may themselves rejoice, and if they do not know, may the Devas inform them by reason of their rejoicing in my gift of merit. May all beings always live happily, free from animosity. May they attain nirvana and their radiant hopes be fulfilled.
I take
Refuge in the Buddha, the one who shows me the way in this life. I take refuge in the Dharma, the way of understanding and of love. I take refuge in the Sangha, the community that lives in harmony and awareness. In the refuge, I clearly see the path of light and beauty in the world. Dwelling in the refuge of Dharma, I learn to open many doors on the path of transformation. Dwelling in the refuge of Sangha, shining light that supports me, keeping my practice free of obstruction. Taking refuge in the Buddha, in myself, I I aspire to help all people recognize their own awakened nature, realizing the mind of love, taking refuge in the Dharma in myself. I aspire to help all people fully master the ways of practice and walk together on the path of liberation, taking refuge in the Sangha in myself. I aspire to help all people build fourfold communities to embrace all beings and support their transformation. Reciting the sutras, practicing the ways of awareness gives benefits without limits. We vow to share the fruits with all beings. We vow to offer tribute to parents, teachers, friends, and numerous beings to give guidance and support along the